Hi everyone, it's Chrissie and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. So yes, today's video is another bit of a longer video because it took me ages to get this house to look the way that I wanted it to. But we're actually in Evergreen Harbor and we're building for my save file, and this house is actually on the lot where the old Caboose bar used to be, so like the EA bar lot in Evergreen Harbor. Basically I went and I bulldozed the bar, and I'm gonna be building like a bar or like lounge or something somewhere else in Evergreen Harbor, but basically I wanted to like completely rebuild this lot and turn it into a residential home. So yes, we're building a residential house that's kind of supposed to be in a almost like converted railway station. So originally the lot that was, not the lot, but the build that was on this lot was actually supposed to be a converted like station, so like train station. Because obviously we have, this is in the Port Promise area of Evergreen Harbor. But yeah, so basically we have all of these like old disused like train tracks with all of like the old trains on it, and you know, it's not really used anymore. But you know, we have all of these train tracks in the area. We have obviously the docks and everything like that in Evergreen Harbor. And this used to basically be the train station. So I don't know if this would have been like, I don't know, like for passengers, like a wow, I can't speak, passenger. I don't know why that was so hard to say. But maybe, I don't know if this train station would have had like passengers going through it, or if it was just a cargo station, or you know, whatever would have been the like logistics behind that. But basically the original lot was supposed to be a converted train station, and basically they had it converted into a bar. But because I wanted it to be a residential lot, obviously I built it as a house, and I wanted to keep with the whole like idea of having a like converted train station on this lot, just because it makes sense. Like I said, we have all of the different train tracks around it, and it's very central to all of like the train stuff, and building something else here just didn't really make sense to me. So I wanted to stick with this very like kind of, I guess kind of like old west style, like southwestern, you know, if you picture like old west stuff, then like the Wild West basically, but those kinds of train track, like not train tracks, but like train stations. And yeah, I wanted to build something like that and then obviously turn it into a house. So that's what I did. Now I did have to cut out quite a few things of this build because like I said, it took me forever. I had about like, I think 7.5 hours worth of footage because yeah, like I said, it took me forever. It's something that's quite a bit out of my comfort zone. It's not a style that I've ever personally seen. Like, it's not a thing where I live. And also, it's not something that I've ever really tried to build myself either. So I did look at a bunch of different reference pictures. Maybe I'll put a couple of them up on the screen in case you guys want to see kind of like what I was looking at. And I did pull like inspiration from a couple of different pictures. So like, I combined, you know, like maybe the porch from one and the roof line from another, and maybe the general shape from another one, you know, stuff like that. And then of course I had to figure out the floor plan because yeah, obviously these kinds of builds weren't like originally meant to have stuff like kitchens and living rooms and bedrooms. So yeah, I had to kind of like wing the floor plan and find something that worked. So I did cut all of that out because it took me forever. And the family that I'm actually building this for is a kind of like special family, and I'll talk about them in just a second. You guys can kind of see them standing in the front. Bonus points if you can guess who they are, or you know, if you read the description of this video, because I probably would have mentioned it. But yeah, so basically this house is a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house. So there's 3 bedrooms upstairs, 1 bedroom downstairs, just off of the kitchen. And then downstairs there's a full bathroom, so a bathroom with a toilet, sink and a shower. And then upstairs there's a bigger kind of like family bathroom, as well as a it's not really an ensuite, but it's also a bigger bathroom. It also has a tub, a shower, you know, all of that stuff. But it's kind of like the ensuite for the main bedroom. So in my head, you know, just the mom would use that bathroom, because it's kind of, there's this little hallway that has the laundry machines in it, and then off of that one like little hallway bit is the main bedroom and then the main bathroom. So it's kind of like an ensuite, but it's not really attached to the bedroom. But yeah, so we have that. And then downstairs we just have a really big living room, dining room, a really nice sized kitchen, and then obviously, you know, the other bedroom. Now, the family that I have living here is actually the Broke family. So if you guys missed it a couple of months ago, honestly, it might have been a couple of years ago, I cannot remember, but basically a while ago, I recreated the Broke family from The Sims 2. And the reason I did that is because obviously it is for my save file, and I kind of want to like add in some of the charm and the townies and Sims from The Sims 2, just because it's one of my favorite Sims games. And, you know, the Sims team already added a couple of them. So they already added the Pleasant sisters, so Lilith and Angela. They were already added by the Sims team when we got Discover University. So I kind of wanted to, like, kind of run with that idea and then add in a couple of other townies from The Sims 2. And obviously I did have to mess around with like the overall timeline a little bit and like their ages, because the Sims team originally, they made Lilith and Angela young adults because they released with Discover University, so obviously they were in university, so they were young adults as opposed to like being teenagers in The Sims 2. So in The Sims 2, if you guys didn't know, Lilith and Angela were actually teenagers, and they were like teenagers along with, you know, Darren and Dirk, not Darren, what am I saying? They were teenagers along with Dirk Dreamer and Dustin Broke, who's obviously the oldest son in the Broke family. And yeah, so they were teenagers, and then like, for example, Cassandra Goth was a young adult. She was actually grown up and engaged. So in The Sims 4, obviously Cassandra is a teenager, and they made Lilith and Angela young adults. So it's kind of really confusing. Obviously, The Sims 4 is supposed to be like an alternate timeline. But anyway, so I did mess with their ages a little bit to keep them young adults. But for Lilith and Angela, I basically created their parents. As I told you guys in the build that I did for their family, I built them this really big, like almost modern farmhouse kind of build in Brindleton Bay, which I'll leave that linked. But the reason I'm talking about the Pleasants when I'm building for the Brokes is because obviously these two families are kind of interconnected, because Dustin is actually dating Angela, and because he was dating Angela in The Sims 2, obviously I wanted him to also be dating her in my save file. So instead of making Dustin a teenager, I made him a young adult. So he's a young adult, and then Brandy, his mother, is technically also a young adult in my save. But if you go in and have an actual look at their like ages and how many days they have until they're aging up, you'll see that Brandy is like, I don't know, maybe like a handful of days away from being an actual adult. So obviously she is very much older than her son, because Dustin is, I think he's only like 3 or 4 days into being a young adult. He's actually in university as well. I have him in Foxbury, and he's actually studying villainy, because that kind of really plays into his storyline from The Sims 2, which I don't think I'll talk about too much. But basically in The Sims 2, he is in the criminal part-time career. So in The Sims 4, I really wanted to put him, I didn't want to put him in the career, but I do want him in like university. Just so that, you know, there's fun gameplay. If your Sims happen to attend Foxbury, then, you know, they can get to meet Dustin. I think Lilith is also in Foxbury. And in my save file, she and Dustin are actually really good friends, because, you know, Dustin is dating her sister. But if you think about it, Lilith and Dustin are actually a lot closer in like, you know, personality and stuff like that. So yeah, they're actually really good friends. And then, you know, I also recreated Dirk and Darren Dreamer, and they're somewhere in my save file. Dirk and Dustin are actually really good friends as well. I think they're best friends. I can't exactly remember, but I think they're actually best friends in my save file. And then, yeah, so we have the mom, Brandy. We have the oldest son, Dustin. Then we have her child son, Bo, who in The Sims 2, Bo is actually a toddler if you like start a new game, and probably if you go into their household, like within like the first day or two of playing, you'll actually be aging up into a child. So I did make him a child in The Sims 4. And then Brandy in The Sims 2 is actually pregnant. So she doesn't really know that she's pregnant yet in The Sims 2. And she's actually pregnant with her deceased husband, Skip. Now, I don't really know how the hell that happened, if I'm being completely honest, because if you like deep dive into the timelines of stuff, then it just doesn't make sense. But in The Sims 4, I also decided to go with that storyline. So she is actually pregnant when I was building this, and in my save file, she is pregnant. But she isn't showing that she's pregnant yet, so she's not even in her first trimester. And, you know, obviously, so in the game, she doesn't know that she's pregnant. But when I created this family, I also created her husband, Skip. So, yeah, you know, his ghost and stuff is in the game. I believe Brandy has his urn in her inventory or something, because I did get rid of him. So, yeah, because obviously I didn't want him running around. So, yeah, he is deceased. He is a ghost. And yeah, so we do have the dad, he is there, and she is pregnant, like I said, and she is pregnant with Skip. Obviously in the game, she doesn't really know that she's pregnant yet. So in my head, maybe she's like, I don't know, maybe she's still in like the first trimester, and, you know, realistically, she probably would know that she's pregnant. But obviously that's not how The Sims works. So yeah, in my head, she's maybe like really early in the first trimester or something, so she's not showing yet or anything like that. And maybe Skip passed away, you know, a couple of months ago, so it's still like a fairly new thing. But yeah, so we have that, and then that also kind of leads into the story that I have for one of the upstairs bedrooms. But yeah, so something else that I really just want to point out, and this has nothing to do with the build, is the fact that I'm actually recording this at like 5:30ish p.m. and I have my windows open behind me. And the only reason I did that is because it's incredibly hot today. It's like I'm actually sitting here melting in front of my PC. And obviously, because I'm recording, I can't have my fan on. So I kind of leave the windows open just for a tiny bit of air and like fresh air and maybe a little bit of a breeze, so that I don't die while doing this voiceover. But that does mean that the mic might pick up some things from outside. I'm hoping my dog stays inside and stays quiet while I do this, but it's a very long voiceover. So yeah, if you guys hear at any point any like background noise like barking or birds or anything like that, then I do apologize. It is because of my window, but like I said, I am so not closing it. It's too hot. And yeah, you guys will just have to suffer through it if it happens, and I'm really sorry, but yeah, that's just something that we're gonna have to deal with. And then also something, before I forget, is you guys will see me clutter up, like I clutter up this build a lot. That's also one of the things that I had to cut out, because I didn't cut all of it out, but I did cut some of it out because I went to town with clutter in this build, and debug clutter, regular clutter. Obviously, I didn't restrict my pack usage, so I basically just went to town with clutter in this build and decorations and everything like that. So yeah, that's kind of also what's taking me forever to get done. But I did playtest this whole thing. I played in the build a couple of days with all of the Sims, and everything works. Your Sims can get everywhere, they can sleep everywhere. you know, everything like that. All of the objects, everything works. So that's just something that I wanted to mention, because obviously I'm using move objects and the tool mod and debug and all of that stuff quite a lot. So I just wanted to like reassure you guys that everything does work, including this bed that I made in Dustin's room. So basically this bed is one of the debug beds from Eco Lifestyle. It's one of the beds that your Sims can actually find in the dumpsters. And then for the base of the bed, I kind of made it look like one of those platform beds that you'll see, those like really low down to the ground platform beds. And for the platform, I basically just use one of the live edit kind of like house bases or like house foundations that you can get for like some of the houses in the world have these foundations. And I basically just sized it down and used it as a bed. Not as a bed, but like as a base for the bed. And I didn't have to size up the bed or anything like that, or like raise it up. So it literally just looks like the mattress is sitting on that platform. And it works perfectly fine. Your Sims can walk through that platform to get to the bed, all of that stuff. So it works just the way it's supposed to. So yeah, that's just something that I wanted to point out. And later on, you guys will actually see me put a TV in this bedroom as well. A TV and a game console and everything like that. And I do want to assure you guys that your Sims can watch the TV from the bed. They can also, which is something that I didn't know that they could do, they can also sit on the bed. Like they'll sit cross-legged on the bed to play with the video game console. Now you'll see that I put this little beanbag chair in the at the foot of the bed. And I did that because originally, for some reason, I thought that they wouldn't be able to sit on the bed and play with the video game console. So I put the chair there so that Dustin could still play video games on his TV. And then when I was playtesting it, he just sat on the bed and it worked perfectly fine. So I actually took like a picture of him and Brandy like sitting like side by side on the bed playing, and then Bo is sitting in the beanbag chair also playing. So like all three of them are playing together. So yeah, I did, like I said, I play tested everything. So yeah, everything works. But yeah, so that's just something that I thought I should mention. And also, this house is incredibly expensive. I don't know why I need to mention that, but it's almost 114,000 simoleons. Now, looking at it and the fact that it does look kind of run down and older, and that's the vibe that I wanted it to have. But originally I thought about doing this as a like budget home, you know, keeping it kind of budget friendly. And then I just went to town with all of the clutter and the decorations and trying to like make this vision that I had in my head come to life in The Sims. And when I just did that, then it ended up being incredibly expensive, and I've just decided to ignore it because it doesn't matter. And the overall, for me personally, the overall look of the build is more important, that it kind of like fits the idea that I had and the look that I wanted it to have is more important to me than sticking to some random budget, which if I'm playing, I'll just ignore the budgets. Usually I'll ignore the costs of lots. I'll use free real estate to move my Sims in and then just cheat down their money a lot, so that, you know, if I want them to struggle for money, then they can still do it, even if they live in like 100k like house or something like that, and they'll just like struggle to pay all of the bills and, you know, actually have to work for money to pay the bills. Which, you know, that's still realistic to me. I still like the way that works whenever I play, and it just, I don't know, it just worked for me for this house. So yeah, just something that I thought I should mention. Now, speaking of builds, you actually might struggle with this family, if I'm being completely honest. If you play with this family and you play in this house, you might actually struggle with builds, because obviously we have Brandy and her 2 sons, and she actually has a baby on the way as well. Now, because in my head and in my save, Skip like only passed away like a couple of months ago, they usually had, you know, like his income to kind of like live on. But now that Brandy is a single mom, they're kind of struggling a little bit more because I only have her in the part-time, like she's a part-time barista, so she doesn't make a lot. She definitely doesn't make like enough to like pay the bills for a house this expensive, take care of, you know, everything else, like run a household that's like 3 Sims, soon to be 4 Sims, and then, you know, keep up with everything else as well. So you will probably struggle quite a bit with money if you're playing this, because obviously you have Dustin, who's a young adult, so he could like easily get a job and help out, but he's actually in university. So trying to like manage a university schedule and have something like a part-time job is incredibly difficult in The Sims 4. I mean, you can do it. You can do it if you like never have your Sims sleep, and if you're okay with maybe missing a class here or there, or being late to class or to work, or, you know, something like that. Or if your Sims are only taking maybe like 1 or 2 classes at a time. And I believe I have Justin signed up, not Justin, Dustin. I believe I have Dustin signed up for like 3 classes. So yeah, I think he's taking like 2 classes and an elective or something like that. But yeah, so he is in 3 classes. So for him to also have a part-time job would be really difficult. Now, it is possible, like I said, it would just be a pain. So yeah, if you guys want to play through that, then more power to you, because I do not have the patience for it. So yeah, just something that I thought I should mention. But yeah, we've moved on to the living room, and as I said, there's a lot of clutter everywhere. It took me forever to just finish Dustin's room, and the rest of the bedrooms are no exception. I also put a lot of clutter into the living room as well. Basically, I wanted this house, even though it is in an older building, it is like, it's older furniture, it's a little bit more run down and all of that stuff. I tried to make it look as if Brandy and Skip and, you know, maybe even the kids, but they've basically done their best to make it look as homey and inviting and like friendly and like as much of like a happy home as they possibly could. So there's a lot of color, there's a lot of pink around the house as well, and I did that intentionally because one of Brandy's favorite colors is actually pink. And I also did it as kind of like a homage or like a throwback to The Sims 2, because in The Sims 2 their trailer is actually also very pink. They also have pink appliances in the kitchen. So in this kitchen I actually also gave them like pink appliances because, I don't know, it was kind of like a fun little Easter egg. If you've ever played The Sims 2, then you probably recognize that. But yes, it's kind of like a fun little Easter egg for those of you that are, like I said, familiar with The Sims 2. So yeah, like I said, I just wanted to use a bunch of colors. I use a bunch of mismatched furniture and, like I said, just clutter everywhere, and especially in the bedrooms as well. Bo's bedroom, the kids' room, is incredibly colorful. It's like blue and orange and green. So it's very bright, very cluttered. But yeah, basically I love the way it turned out. Now, speaking about Brandy expecting a third child. She's expecting her 3rd child, and I did cheat it when I was setting up my save file, so she is expecting a boy, which is what she would have in The Sims 2 if you play with them. But basically, so she is expecting. And that's kind of my idea for the 3rd bedroom upstairs. So obviously we have Dustin's room downstairs, we have the main bedroom upstairs, we have Bo's room, and then we have another bedroom that I did actually cut out of the footage because it's not really a used bedroom at the moment, because obviously there's no child to like occupy it. So I don't think it was necessary to keep it in the video. And obviously I have screenshots at the end of everything. Like I think I have like 3 or 4 minutes worth of like screenshots at the end. So yeah, there's a lot. But basically the 4th bedroom, I actually turned that into kind of a toddler's room, kind of a nursery type room. basically in that room, there's a bassinet, a toddler bed, a little like child chair, one of those bear chairs. There's a bunch of toys and clutter and boxes, and that's my idea for that room. Is it's kind of, at the moment, it's just used as storage. So storage for maybe like old toys of the kids, old toys of when Bo and Dustin were children or toddlers or whatever, and things that they just don't use anymore. And that's also why I have in the family bathroom upstairs, we actually have a toddler potty. And obviously in that little, like, I guess kind of like storage, like toddler-esque room, I also have obviously the toddler bed. I have a bassinet that I actually put a bunch of like stuffed animals in. And yeah, so I have all of those things that I figured would be like the older boys, it would be their stuff from when they were younger. So in my head, obviously Brandy they never threw it away. They kind of like kept everything, and they just haven't gotten around to throwing it away or donating it or whatever. And when she has her baby, it will actually come in really handy. So if you play with this family and Brandy actually has her baby and all of that stuff, then it would be really easy to just delete a couple of things in that room, or maybe even just move a couple of things around, because like I said, it already has a bed, it has a bassinet for a baby. And you can just move a couple of things around. You could use a lot of the furniture that I put in that room to actually furnish a toddler or like baby or whatever's bedroom. And you don't have to buy a bunch of new stuff if you don't want to. So I don't know, it kind of worked out in my head, like storyline wise. Now I should also mention that I did build this a few weeks ago. So when I was building this, we obviously didn't have the bathroom clutter kit, which at the time that I'm recording this video, we also don't have that yet. I'm recording this on Wednesday. So yeah, in the video that went up actually on Wednesday, I didn't mention it in that voiceover because I recorded that on like Monday. So I didn't even know that we were getting the bathroom clutter kit this week. So I didn't mention it in that video. But basically in that build, I didn't use the new kit because, like I said, didn't have it. Same in this build, I'm not using it because didn't have it. So yeah, we don't use that kit. We also don't have anything for like infants or anything like that because obviously it's not out yet. We don't even know at this point when we're getting the infants or anything like that. A lot of people thought that it would be this week because I don't know why everyone was expecting a big update this week, if I'm being completely honest, because the Sims team never said that we were getting a big update. I think somewhere something might have said, or someone might have said that we're getting a update, but no one ever said that it was like the update, like the big infants update. So I don't know why a lot of people were expecting it to begin with. But basically, this past week, we got an update that just had a bunch of bug fixes, and obviously it kind of like prepped the game for the kits that came out on Thursday. So now we've gotten the kits from the like roadmap that we got. So we've gotten the kits. We know we're still supposed to be getting the infants update, and we know we're getting a expansion pack. And then we also know that they're going to be holding a community live stream on the 31st of January. Now, personally, I don't think we'll be getting the infants update before that live stream. Honestly, I know that with toddlers, they kind of just dropped toddlers on us, like out of the blue. They never mentioned it. They like never gave us an idea that it was coming or anything like that. They kind of just dropped the update. And honestly, a lot of people were thinking that they were going to do the same thing with infants, and this update was just going to be like a super big update out of the blue, and we were just going to get infants. But they already told us that we're getting them. So we've known about infants since last year, since the Sims Summit stream last year. So it's not like it would have been a surprise. Obviously, the timing of it would have been a surprise, but we know we're getting them. So it's not the same scenario as it was with the toddlers. And also, toddlers released, honestly, I can't remember when it was. It might have been like 2016 or 2017, I think. So it was like years ago at this point. And honestly, I can't see EA being okay with them just dropping a big update like that. I can see them maybe wanting to do a little bit more hype around it, to generate more hype around it, and to kind of like show it off themselves a little bit more. So that's kind of why I'm thinking that, you know, when we have the live stream on the 31st, the 31st is actually on a Tuesday. So maybe if they like do the live stream and then release the patch right afterwards, or maybe the patch, you know, releases when the live stream starts, and then in the stream they're kind of like showing off infants and, you know, stuff like that. That would make more sense to me personally, because, you know, I don't know, it makes more sense. It's a really big feature. It's something that a lot of people have been asking for, and the team is probably really excited to like show them off. And also, because we've gotten the kits this early, I mean, it's already like the middle of January, but we only got the roadmap, I think, last week, if I remember correctly. So it's pretty early from, you know, when we got the roadmap, basically. So usually roadmaps are like quarterly things, so like every 4 months, not 4 months, every 3 months. So in my head, the roadmap is maybe for like January, February, and March. So considering that we've already gotten the kits at, you know, the point that you're seeing this, it kind of just leaves the big update and the expansion pack for February and March, or like for the rest of January, February, and then March. So honestly, I don't think the infant update will happen until the end of January. Now, obviously, I could be completely wrong. This is all just me guessing, because I literally know nothing about this. So I'm just kind of guessing and kind of going off of, you know, what they've done in the past. And yeah, I mean, so if we're getting the update at like the end of January maybe, then we'll probably get the expansion pack announcement like early February. So, because in my head, obviously, with, you know, all of the kind of hints that they've dropped in the roadmap and everything like that, I kind of think that the expansion is going to be a kind of like extension of the infant update, and it's going to add a lot of like family stuff. So I'm hoping for a lot of family gameplay, a lot of like family features stuff, especially for elders and children, and then obviously toddlers and infants, because, you know, duh. But honestly, it's kind of looking like they're going to focus maybe on like children, toddlers, and infants rather than the older life stages. Now, where teenagers and young adults or like adults are concerned, I'm totally fine with that. I don't think we need more teenage gameplay at the moment. Obviously, there are still stuff that I would like for teenagers, and very much like family gameplay that I would like to see for teen sims. But at the moment, I don't think they're like the priority. Like, they don't need it the most at the moment. Currently, I do think that child sims, toddlers, and then obviously, you know, infants, once we get them, are going to be like the 3 life stages that really need some attention. So I'm hoping that the expansion pack is going to add a lot of like gameplay for them, because at this point, honestly, it's kind of been like sort of confirmed that it's going to be a very family oriented expansion. I mean, come on, the whole roadmap was very family oriented, and we're getting it like close to like a big update like infants. So, you know, thinking that it's going to be something like completely random or like far like from like out of left field at this point, it just doesn't make sense to me. So I think it's like a safe bet basically to say that we're getting a I don't want to say generations pack because I don't think it will be a recreation or a similar pack to the Sims 3 generations, but a family pack, so like a family gameplay pack, or a, you know, something that's basically just focused on family gameplay, the younger life stages, you know, stuff like that. So personally, I don't think we'll be getting the infant update maybe until like the end of February, not the end of February, the end of January, so that we can get the expansion announcement maybe in like the early February, and then have the release be like mid to end February for the expansion or something like that. I don't know, that would just make more sense to me personally, and it's kind of what I'm hoping for, like timeline wise, just so that I hate when the Sims team, like, we have like a complete radio silence for months, and then all of a sudden we have like 3 or 4 packs just dropping at the same time, basically, like we had with Werewolves in high school years, because the Werewolves pack was such a great game pack, but then almost like 2 weeks after it released, they already had High School Years announced, and it came out like less than a month after Werewolves. So basically, people didn't really have the time to enjoy the Werewolves pack and kind of like cover it and, you know, explore it and, you know, everything like that before like all of the focus was shifted onto the new expansion, like High School Years. So for this, I'm kind of hoping that they like spread it out and like work on the timing a little bit, because good lord, it's hard when you're a channel that kind of focuses on builds and, you know, stuff like that. It's hard when you have like 2 or 3 things releasing all within like weeks of each other, and you don't have the time to properly do stuff with one pack before the next one comes out. So yeah, that's a very me problem. That's very much a like content creator problem, probably not much of a like regular player problem. But yeah, that's just me getting very rambly at the end of a very long voiceover. So yeah, I do apologize for that, but honestly, I can't even remember what I was talking about before I went on that big like rant about. Honestly, I don't even know what I was ranting about. So yeah, I think I'm gonna start wrapping it up. We still have like 2 or so minutes left of this voiceover, because like I said, it is incredibly long, and I already can't speak anymore. My voice is completely going out on me. It's been happening in like every voiceover that I've done over the past like 2 weeks. If I talk for like longer than 15 minutes, my throat gets so sore, my voice gets so hoarse. It kind of sounds like I don't even know what. It kind of sounds like I'm sick, but I'm not. So yeah, it's very irritating. It's all because of these like really long voiceovers that I've been doing, and I'm not used to talking for this long, or talking this like, I don't know, like animated or like energetically, if that makes sense. Usually I'm a lot quieter in real life. So yeah, I don't know. Whatever it is, my voice just doesn't like it. So I apologize if I sound very croaky and stuff, but yeah, we're just gonna have to live with it. But as you guys can see, we're just working on the exterior of this build. There wasn't a lot of like yard space, so I tried to make the most of what I, you know, had to work with. We have a couple of activities, we have some eating space, you know, regular backyard stuff. Like I said, I tried to make it look like Brandy has tried to make this look as inviting and family friendly as possible. But yeah, I'm also extending this like wire fence a little bit like around the build, just to make it look like it's blended into the environment a little bit more, like it's meant to be here. But yeah, like I said, this build is for my save, so it's completely custom content free. It's up on the gallery. There's all of the download information in the description as usual. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, give the video a like. If you're new to the channel and you'd like to see some more Sims content, feel free to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell as well to be notified of whenever I upload a new video. But I hope you're all having a great week and a great day, and I'll talk to you on my very next video. Bye everyone.
was always on fire, our house, our dreams. We were dancing on a wire, reckless it seemed. We found holes in these walls, we like what we saw. Seemed so strong until it falls, the final straw. Oh, I never felt like this before. When I was trapped, you showed an open door. Living in a dark, clouded haze, we danced, we fought. We were bound to make mistakes, real love, we thought. But it was always on fire, our house,